In the heart of medieval Europe, a young woman rose not just to rule but to fight. Isabel was no ordinary queen. She wasn't content with silk gowns and royal feasts. Born into a kingdom torn by ambition, betrayal, and bloodshed, Isabel's childhood was shaped by war. Two rival houses claimed the throne. One was her family, the other, her husband's. She had to choose between loyalty and justice, between silence and sword. Isabel chose to lead, to stand on the battlefield, and to rewrite her fate. The War of the Two Thrones would become her legacy, and history would remember her as the queen who dared to command. Isabel was born into the royal house of Trastamara in the Kingdom of Castile. From an early age, she showed strength, wisdom, and a fierce sense of duty. But Castile was not at peace. Her half-brother ruled as king, and many questioned his power. Corruption ran deep in the court, nobles whispered in shadows. When the time came, Isabel was forced into political games she didn't want. Yet, she played smarter than anyone expected. Instead of marrying who the court wanted, she made her own choice, Ferdinand of Aragon. Together, they would change the future of Spain forever. But their union sparked chaos. Supporters of another princess, Juana, claimed she was the rightful queen. Juana was backed by Portugal, and soon, a full-blown war erupted. This was the beginning of the War of the Two Thrones. Isabel didn't just hide behind while she led armies into battle. Clad in armor, she rode beside her men, inspiring loyalty and courage. She wasn't a puppet of men, she was their commander. And for the first time, soldiers marched for a queen, not a king. The war was brutal. Towns burned. Families were torn apart. Isabel and Ferdinand had to defend not only their claim but their people. They reorganized the army, cut corruption, and made sure soldiers were fed and paid. They brought in new tactics, using speed and surprise to win key battles. Isabel personally met with generals, discussed strategies, and even rode to front lines. It shocked Evriana nobles, enemies, even her own allies. She was not supposed to fight, but she didn't care what was supposed to be. She fought because the future depended on it. In 1476, the Battle of Toro became a turning point. Though it ended without a clear victory, Isabel's side gained strength. Her forces held the ground, while Portugal slowly backed away. People saw her as not just a queen but a warrior and a leader. Crowds cheered her name. Songs were sung about her bravery. Even enemies began to respect her iron will. Portugal began to lose support from Castilian nobles. And slowly, the war began to tip in Isabel's favor. But Isabel knew victory would not come easily. She worked tirelessly behind the scenes writing letters, forming alliances, calming revolts. She built bridges with the church, earning the support of powerful clergy. She promised justice and order, and many believed her. With each passing year, her power grew not just through war, but through diplomacy. Her rivals underestimated her again and again. They thought she was just a woman in a man's game. But she was building an empire while they played checkers. By 1479, the tide had fully turned. The Treaty of Alcáçovas ended the war and gave Isabel the crown. Portugal recognized her as Queen of Castile. It was not just a military win, it was a diplomatic masterpiece. Isabel had united her kingdom, outmaneuvered her enemies, and defended her claim. But more than that, she had proven that a woman could lead in times of chaos. She didn't inherit peace, she forged it. With courage, steel, and the will to rule. Even after the war, Isabel never rested. She worked to reform the government and bring justice to her land. She improved education, supported exploration, and centralized power. She laid the groundwork for what would become the Spanish Empire. Columbus's voyage, funded by Isabel. Religious unity, enforced under her rule. She made decisions both praised and criticized to this day. But one thing is clear, she changed history forever. Isabel's story was not one of easy success. She faced betrayal from friends and threats from family. She ruled in a world that didn't believe women could lead. But she never backed down. Her leadership was firm, her vision sharp. Even when faced with loss and heartbreak, she stood tall. To the people, she was more than a ruler, she was a symbol. A queen with the soul of a warrior. Today, she is remembered across Spain and beyond. Statues bear her likeness, streets carry her name, but her legacy is more than stone and words. It's found in every leader who dares to rise despite the odds, in every woman who stands where she's told she can't, in every fight for justice against stronger foes. Isabel's life was a blueprint for courage, and her crown was earned, not given. Few monarchs in history have left such a mark. Her reign saw the end of feudal chaos and the rise of centralized power. She transformed Castile from a fractured kingdom to a unified force. Her alliance with Aragon created the foundation of modern Spain. Her influence touched politics, war, religion, and culture. And it all began with one bold decision to fight for her right. She didn't wait for power, she took it. Not with cruelty, but with vision. Isabel's military leadership was rare in her time. Queens were expected to inspire, not to command. But she led soldiers, rode to battle, and studied war. She saw war as more than blood, it was a path to peace. And peace, once earned, needed strong hands to hold it. She built armies and schools, courts, and churches. She dreamed of a united, strong Spain and made it real. All with a sword in one hand and a book in the other. The War of the Two Thrones was more than a battle for a crown. It was a test of will, intelligence, and leadership. Isabel passed that test again and again. Where others saw a woman, she showed a queen. Where others sought power, she sought purpose. Her journey from princess to warrior queen still echoes today. Because true power isn't taken, it's earned, step by step. And Isabel earned every inch of her reign. Her story reminds us that leadership has no gender. That courage doesn't wear only armor, it wears wisdom too. She was fierce but fair, bold but thoughtful. She proved that strength comes in many forms, and that sometimes the fiercest general wears a crown. History may have kings, but Isabel claimed her place among them. She didn't need to follow their path, she made her own, and led a kingdom forward one battle at a time. So remember Isabel, the queen who led an army, not just with weapons, but with hope and heart. The War of the Two Thrones could have destroyed her. Instead, it defined her. She ruled not because of her birth, but because of her bravery. Her legacy isn't just royal, it's revolutionary. Because when history needed a hero, Isabel answered the call and changed the world forever.